Hey, 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 beautiful Earth Angels Divine. Welcome, welcome to this wonderful sharing of love's wisdom through yours truly, Rev Ronnie Lipstein. Tonight, I believe, is the 26th of January, which is Friday here on this side of the world in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I am absolutely blessed to be here with all of you, and thank you all for joining in too. Yay! So, the love's wisdom that came through for me to share with all of you this evening is about unity versus individuality, or as some of you may have heard me address myself and you in a slew of different terminologies, such as which refers to what we can call the greater me, or the voice of Namaste Love, or that which is the connection of all of we authentically to the voice of love, or Namaste Love. And then I've spoken of we through the voice that I call the little me, or just me, which we will get into in a little bit more shortly. But that one could be seen as the one that we come to take care of and to ascend and exalt in this earthly plane, where I also refer to we as earth angels divine, as I believe that we are all angels who have, in the terminology that one would deem an angel, a being of light, a being of Namaste love, unconditional love, a good person, but one of the earth, of this earth school, as I call it. So that me that I refer to when speaking to we here on this plane would be that part of the I that manifested in this incarnated experience of beingness. And then I have the we, which can refer to the me that is all of we, because we all have a me. But the we is also all. So it could also be the I, which is also the soul of each of we, but also the all to which we are all ones, which incorporates everything, not just everyone, but everything that is, ever was, or will be. And I understand that this is all a little confusing at times. So I thought it would be a good idea to have a little chitty chat about it, and hopefully create some clarity so that when you are reading from me and there is a greater capacity to comprehend the love's wisdom that's streaming through. And because blessings sent forward, it will provide some modicum of assistance for you dealing with your me here upon our Earth School with all of we. So on that note, why don't we get started? And I do want to apologize. I am unfortunately dealing with a head cold, so there may be some coughing, as there just was, potentially some sneezing and sniffling. So I apologize a priori before anything should get carried away. And I thank you for sticking it out with me and not getting turned off by the cold. So And please do feel free, if you would like to participate while I am sharing with you the love's wisdom coming through. If you write in the comments, it does tend to show up, and eventually I'll see it, and I can then acknowledge and respond if there is opportunity to. So please, please do feel free. So a little whiles back, one of the first videos that I did was about identity and the importance of how we respond after the two little words, I am, what our response is to that, and how formulating our identity creates such a huge aspect of our experience of beingness on this earth school. And this is kind of in line with identity, how we perceive ourselves to be, and the different parts that make up me, right? Like, if we think about this very casually, don't have to get all into like the spiritual hoo-ha or philosophical intellectualism. Everybody has their own personal experiential experiences in life that we've all had, where we can relate to the fact that there are many different aspects to each of us. The me that we associate ourselves with when we are blissed out is a very different me than the me that we identify with when we are raging with fury and anger. Very different, right? Just think about it for a moment, just so that we can all be on the same page. Think about you when you are overcome with anger. Very different than you when you are overjoyed in bliss. You when you are chilling and maxing and relaxing and you ain't caring about anything, versus you when you're like, go, 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 you have business, there's meetings happening, things gotta get done, boom, 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 boom. It's different parts of you that come to the table, right? So when you hear things which for many are, you know, they see them as a spiritual hoo-ha or flower child or granola or this or that, it's not. It's just language, which is quite key, by the way, to transcending consciousness. But it's just language. But these different aspects of me is what one can call our multidimensionality in one aspect. One that's easy enough for us all to relate to and understand. There are different parts, different layers, different personas that we take on. When I get all dressed up in my party clothes and I'm going to play, it's a very different me than when I get dressed up in my play clothes to play with my nieces, for example, and I'm going to do finger painting. Even though they're both play, they're different play. And very different than when I get all dressed up fancy schmancy because I'm going to a wedding or something. Still getting dressed up, but different. And it's a different me that you will see. Even though they're all me, they're still a little bit different, right? So when we're talking about our identity and who we are choosing to be, and that might be something that we want to take a moment to allow ourselves to consciously acknowledge that, yes, indeed, we get to choose who is me. And the choice that we make, as far as who we choose me to be, miraculously, quote unquote, we can change instantaneously in any instant. As in, I can be this me right now, and then I can change to be this me, and then I can change to be this right away, right away. And you can really like, oh, I'm going to be this me, and then go, no, I'd like to be this me. No! And okay, granted, it might look a little schizophrenic, but the reality is, it's our choice. It's our choice. That's the choice of free will. And we get to make it consciously. That's the thing that you hear when you hear about the difference between the human kingdom and the animal kingdom, is that consciously we are gifted this choice of free will, which for some ain't such a gift, because with, as Spider-Man said, with the gift of such power comes responsibility, or the ability to respond consciously, which is up to us to harness, to choose to make use of appropriately, responsibly, right? Our ability to respond, responsibility, consciously, is the power that we as part of the human kingdom have. And it is up to us to make use of it. And one of the ways that I have found in the last few decades that I have been dedicated to being a conscious being, which one would think would be easy, breezy, schmeezy, but oh my gosh, woo! It can take some doing, can't it? Well, when you're raised in a society that has tried to do everything to shut you off, learning to be who we are authentically, which are conscious beings, can take some doing. Yes. So, in the few decades that I have been doing my best to be this conscious being, I have found that sometimes it's good to focus on the unity of me and the unity of we. And sometimes it's good to focus on the individuality of me, as well as the separateness within the me that I may be in any given now that we are here. So I'm going to try and break it down for you and make it a little easier. As I said at the beginning, I know it's like infinitely spiraling consciousnesses, and as complex as we might think it is as simple as it actually is. But there you go. What can I tell you? The miraculous marvelousness of existence gets you every time. So what I have found is of assistance is, one, accepting that we are one with everything, all that is, ever was, or will be. You are me, I am you. The saying, in lakesh alakin, I am another you, you are another me, we are one. Very, very good diktat to live by, for you never see yourself higher or lower, more important or less important. Everyone is included. Very nice. Very nice. Ego in check. Having said that, allowing for the layers of we, that is me, that is I, is also assisting. Recognizing that there is a part of me that I can call my soul, and there is a part of me that I can call my human, let's say me, can be very assisting when dealing with my emotions, which we haven't been given too much guidance in dealing with, and in fact we're still learning about today, with respect to those we consider the authorities, psychologists, doctors, scientists, still learning about emotions, still learning about thinking, intelligence, and how this remarkable, miraculous, marvelous beingness of humanness operates. I mean, I can't even, like, really, we are so incredible. Like, we are so incredible. If I can just, I know I'm digressing, and it's so easy too, because I mean, oh my gosh, we're talking about us. Hello. If you've ever raised a child or watched one grow, I mean, really, like, hello. Think about this for a moment, because I mean, it's so incredible. In order for us to live, to breathe, to survive, we have to breathe air, oxygen, every millisecond. And yet, consciously, we don't have to think about it for a millisecond. This physical vessel just does it. It's on autonomic response system. It's in that part of our body that is just working automatically. But if we didn't do it, we wouldn't be here. Oh my gosh! How incredible is that? We are breathing constantly, continuously. We exist because of this unseen breath that most of the time we are not even conscious that we're doing. We're not even conscious of this experience that is continuously, consistently happening. And not only continuously, consistently happening, but if it weren't happening, we wouldn't be. We are dependent on it. And yet we don't even have to think about it. Oh my gosh. I mean, I can't even, like, really. Miraculously marvelous, okay? I'm not even getting into, like, the fact that each one of we is a miracle. Millions of sperm in every ejaculation. And somehow, some way, you came to be because that one time, out of all times possible, the ova was ready to be fertilized. And out of all the times possible, in that ejaculation was strong enough, the sperm, to make it all the way through and get into the, I mean, really, I know, I'm digressing, but it's just so easy because there's so much miraculous marvelousness, really. Anyways, all right, let's get back. So, the emotions, the thinking, we don't really get how it all works. We get a lot, and let's not take away, I mean, oh my gosh, we've made so much progress. We understand so much, and yet we understand so nothing. I mean, as the saying goes, as my saying goes, with the gift of awareness comes the recognition of the infinite wisdom that is awaiting our grasp. The more you know, the more you realize how little you know. How much more there is to know, because it's infinite, the wisdom that is out there for us to understand and to take in. So as much as we know about us, so much more there is. So in assisting us to be the me we love ourselves to be, and someone asked me once, why do you want to be the best you can be? Why do you want to be the me you love yourself to be? Because I'm loving it. Why else? Because I love feeling good. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like feeling good about themselves? Who doesn't like feeling love for themselves? Everybody does. Everybody likes to love themselves. And when we're loving ourselves and we're feeling good, we make other people feel good just by virtue of us being in a state of being love. Like, hello, knock, knock, knock. So, to assist us to be in the state of being love, of loving ourselves, what I have found is of assistance, which, yes, goes against the whole unity consciousness thing, which is very good, but sometimes it's also good to have a little separatism in there, is to identify with the part of us that we can call our soul, or the part of us that we can call our voice of namaste love. And for me, essentially, it all comes down to two things. There's either the voice of love that you're listening to, which is the one that makes you feel good, authentically. Not the one that makes you feel good, like, I just ripped into that person. I feel like because you feel guilty afterwards. You feel regretful. So not that one. The one where you feel good. And there's no regret. There's like, it just makes you feel better and better the more you think about it. That voice. So there's a whole whack of emotions that go into there, and a whole whack of beings that go into there, and a whole different slew of voices. Your happy voice, your calm voice, your relaxed voice, blah, blah, blah. And then the voice of fear, which is the voice that makes you feel anxious, depressed, angry, resentful, irritated. And it could be a whole stream of things. You can be calmly angry. You can be bombastically angry. You can be really depressed, a little bit. But fear or love, essentially, they can all be categorized. So what I have found is if we can identify ourselves with our voice of love and see the part of we that we can call our little me as kind of like the baby that we came here to ascend, to exalt, to assist the greater all, to transcend whatever muck and yuck happens to exist for whatever reasons might be. I mean, it might all just be a game that we came here to play. Really. It really makes no difference. At the end of the day, we're here, we're having this experience, and there's parts of us that make us feel good, and there's parts that don't. So I like to kind of divide them up. And when I do that, it helps. When I can look at my part of me that is not the voice of love continuously, consistently, and authentically, the one that wavers, the one that sometimes is confused and doubtful and unsure, not necessarily angry, not necessarily listening to the voice of love, not necessarily depressed, but more like a child, an innocent child that doesn't really know better. And I can separate myself from her. And then there's the voice of fear, which I don't like to really own, even as me. And I don't want to put it out there as we, but it is our collective garbage, kind of like the shit that is the toxins that we got rid of. And I like to see that as something that we're kind of trying to, again, ascend, transcend, and make it into manure, right? Because you take cow shit, dung, and whatever they do to it to make it into manure is then used to fertilize the gardens, the farms, that then create the food that we eat, that we put into our mouths, and that nourish us. So from shit, we wind up getting some of the most gorgeous, nutrient-rich foods to eat that are like beautiful. I mean, again, miraculous marvelousness, what grows from this earth school. Oh my gosh. And some of the most miraculous marvelousness grows in shit, right? So I like to try and separate those things because when I do, it makes it easier for me to identify with my voice of love. And when I identify with my voice of love, even when my voice of fear, which I don't even like to say my voice of fear, I like to say the voice of fear, but sometimes I say my, and it's okay. More often than not I do. I'm still training. Oh my gosh, all in the training. Oh my gosh, the training we have all been through for the last thousands of years of fear consciousness. This is why this is so important. Because we have to retrain the brain, realign the mind into love consciousness. Hi, Shama. Blessings, blessings. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so blessed to have you and your energy here. Thank you, thank you. So, when I identify with my voice of love, which I call my I. When my little me is confused or scared or feeling alone, or I'm in a really dark and horrible place because of hormones, because of my brain's biology, which can take me there, because of food I've eaten, or I haven't gotten enough sleep, or the weather is dark, or so many triggers that we've been trained to respond through fear consciousness to. If I identify with my voice of love, then I can separate myself enough to allow for the space that's required, that if I feel like I'm drowning in the yuckiness that can be so overwhelming, there's enough space in there for me to catch a breath and at least maybe hear a little bit the voice of love calling, Ronnie, my love, come up for air. It's okay. You don't have to listen to that voice of yuckiness. It's not true. It's just another voice, and you don't have to accept that it's you. And the more that I do this, the more and the more that I train my brain and I align my mind to identify with the voice of love within me, which is within each and every one of you, because we're all connected and we are all one. See how I did that there? Oh yeah, baby. Back and forth we go. Infinite is the spiraling of you and me and we and all. Oh my. The easier it becomes to listen to that voice of love. And even more importantly, the easier it becomes to not listen to the voice of fear, to the voice of hate, to the voice of anger and resentment and irritation and aggravation, and, which we have been so well trained to listen to. No? I mean, how do you think we got the presidents that we got in places that we've got them in, where people are being tortured? And I'm not even talking about the U.S., my loves. I mean, we're all like obsessed with the U.S., but thank goodness for that. So obvious is the disgrace. There are countries that have presidents in them that I can't even, like, the horrors that are occurring under their regime. I mean, really. And this is the world that we've been living in for thousands of years, under governing bodies that tell us that it's okay to be so disrespectful, not just to each other, but to ourselves. What kind of a way is that to raise your children? To create life, to create community, to create countries? I mean, really? And how do we expect to affect any kind of change if we don't start with the one place where we have the greatest opportunity to affect positive change, which is where? Within this me. Of course, you have no right to go into somebody else and tell them what to do, who to be, or how to be. You might try, and if they're open to receiving guidance, sure. But ultimately, you are not the clock maker of that which is turning inside of somebody else's mind. The brain of someone else is not for you to toil within, except within your own, where you are the sovereign and you have the ability to affect the changes that you wish to see and to be. So, this is where I have found, in my own experience of beingness, that has assisted me, and to be ultimately, authentically honest, I have a physical vessel that biologically and chemically can take me into dips beyond dips of darkness, where I cannot see, blinded to love's voice, ultimately, can I be, quite often. So not only is it something that I speak to professionally, that I have assisted my angel partners, my clients with, but also that I have used with myself and my own little me, and within this physical vessel and this biology and chemistry that I have come here to deal with, to learn how to navigate through, and to transcend, ascend, and exalt into the example of bountiful bliss that is the authenticity of we that is available to all if we so choose to be. But yes, practice does it take. Repetition, commitment, dedication, persistence, perseverance. What can you expect? Thousands of years have we been trained to align our mind in fear consciousness. Overnight, it shan't be that suddenly we are going to be operating through love consciousness. But that is not to say that it is an impossibility or a utopian view of fantasy. If we are able to do it this way, we most certainly can go that way. It's all just training. It's all just habit. And we can do it. Each and every one of we, individually and collectively. So, I invite you, beautiful Earth Angel Divine, who came here to be an example, who came here to take care of this me that is a part of we, that is fragile and innocent, that is not as strong, that does not know as much, that is not filled with the love's wisdom of the soul that we authentically are, that is one with all that is, ever was, or will be. And I invite you to invite the voice of love, your soul, into your consciousness more and more, to identify your true beingness with this part of you, and to see the other part of you as the one you are here to care for, so that you're more patient and compassionate with the part of you that we do tend to judge quite harshly, n'est-ce pas? We get angry, we get depressed, we get pessimistic, procrastinate, yada yada, and then we bitch slap the hell out of ourselves for doing so, don't we? You this, you that, because again, we are so well trained in doing that, oh my gosh. But if you identify with your voice of love, then when you see your little me doing those things, one, you can hear your voice of love easier, and two, you can be more compassionate with the part of you that got lost, and be like, okay, you lost your shit, that wasn't good, but I understand, and let's learn from it. Let's use it so that we can get better, and so that we can break this bad habit and institute a new one that makes us feel good, that we feel good about, and that we want to share. Love sent, my sister. Love sent to you, Lupa. Mwah! I love it. Oh my gosh, we're connecting. Yay! La 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 la. So happy. So happy that you're there. Although I'm going to go soon, but yay! Got you for a moment. And I'm feeling you now. Makes me very happy. Yes. So when we identify with the voice of love, again, there's the space to hear it when we get lost, and there's also greater compassion for when we get lost. Because when we berate and beat ourselves up for screwing up, we're just giving in to fear consciousness. We're just following what they told us is the way to be. Judging, judging, judging. Which doesn't do anything except keep us stuck where we don't want to be. It's not the way to transcend the muck and mire of fear consciousness that we're here to transcend. It goes against what we're here to do. So, on that note, without wanting to repeat too much in this one video, I think I have shared enough, hopefully, for you to get what I'm trying to say and communicate. And of course, if there's any confusion, please do feel free to write to me. Write in the comments if you have questions. If you'd like for me to clarify something, feel free to send me a private message. Know that I'm available to journey with you personally if you are seeking some guidance. This is what I do professionally. I am a guide light. I provide talk therapy for people. So if you feel that you are truly ready to dive in there and affect positive change, get in touch with me. It is my pleasure to journey with you, and there is an array of ways by which we may so do. So don't hesitate and don't be shy. And even in sharing your comments publicly, remember, you are one of many of we. And whatever it is that you might be confused about and embarrassed about speaking to, know that there are hundreds of thousands just like you that are thinking the same thing, wondering the same thing, confused about the same thing. So you're asking on behalf of all. And my being able to receive your question and therefore get the answer to share provides for all. What a gift. What a gift. What a gift. All right. On that note, beautiful Earth Angels Divine, a most lovely weekend to each and every one of you. May it be filled with your fabulous through and through and through. And I look forward to the next time I may be here with you. All of the me's and the we's and the I's together through Namaste Love Consciousness. Until then, in Lakesh Alakin, Namaste. Mwah! Bliss kiss to you all.